Howdy. Today we're going on a hike. Right now I'm in the Uinta National Forest. That's way up in the Wasatch Mountains in Utah. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. The hike we've got scouted out ought to be about 6.5 miles long. If we're lucky, we'll get it done in 3 hours. We'll gain and lose about 1,000 feet elevation and see a whole bunch of different parts of this beautiful country. Tag along. We're going to have some fun. Here, as you can see, the trail goes through a quaking aspen grove. Now, aspens are beautiful deciduous trees that you'll usually find way up the side of the Rocky Mountains, often surrounded by the dark green of conifers. Here are more quaking aspens. An interesting thing about quaking aspens is that they reproduce primarily by cloning. When you see a patch of aspens up on the side of the mountain, the odds are that that group of trees are genetically identical. From the roots, new trees will grow, and sometimes they'll multiply into the tens of thousands, all essentially the same organism, though they look like a grove of many different individual trees. While we're talking about aspens, let's look at the leaves of this one. Now, the quaking aspen's scientific name is Populus tremuloides. Tremuloides, I think, is Latin for trembles, thus the name quaking aspen. Now, how to get the name? Well, there's a unique structure. Here, the stems that lead to the leaves of this tree, instead of being rounded the way they are in most trees, they are flat. And when the wind catches them, it causes those leaves to shake like that. So that's why the quaking aspen quakes. Thankfully, the Forest Service goes to great lengths to keep you from getting lost. We've been out 15 minutes. You holding up okay? Yeah, so we've been out 15 minutes. So far, the trail has been almost all downhill. I'm not that smart, but what I think that means is that at some point, we're going to have to walk back uphill. I think that's a little more strenuous. Okay, let's review our dull guy in the woods lesson. You see that grove of aspens there? Aren't they beautiful? Just astounding. Right now, you and I are looking at hundreds of trees. Again, the interesting thing, they are all what you call clones. They all are genetically identical. They all, in effect, are the very same tree. This is a meadow up in the mountains. Now, it's natural to ask yourself, okay, so why aren't there trees growing here? Well, there are a variety of reasons why a meadow will form. Sometimes they're opened up by fire. Sometimes they're a consequence of beaver dams, old ponds that kill the roots of trees. Oftentimes, though, when you see a meadow in a hollow like this, what that means is that in the coldest days of winter and in the early days of spring, this area traps cold air that makes it just too inhospitable for little seedlings to start. The benefit of a meadow is it provides browse for the elk and moose that live up here. It's also just an opportunity to see the blue sky and get out away from the trees and drink in the beauty. Repeat with me. Populus tremuloides. All right, we've been out half an hour, and this is where we are, still in the poplars. But as we come around on the back side of this mountain, we're also getting into a place where we're seeing, or starting to see, a lot more evergreens. Sadly, I'm not quite bright enough to know the names of most of these Rocky Mountain evergreen trees. But take a look at this big one right here. See how tall it grows and how narrow. That's different from many other evergreens. Why does he grow that way? Well, this is special adaptation to the environment in which this tree developed. It needs to be tall in order to get sunlight, keen competition with other trees. And it also needs to be narrow to diminish the weight of the snow load. Beaucoup snow falls up here in the wintertime, and if it had branches that stuck way out, they wouldn't be able to hold the snow and they'd break off. So he's competing with other trees. This species, he needs to be tall, but he's in a very snowy environment, so he needs to be thin. Kevin Taylor? The ranger would like to speak with you. The great thing about these trails is there is lots of recreational opportunity for everybody. You're in my home movie.
Nice.
Can you see that moose up there? Yeah. Yeah, neither can I. Yeah, there's no moose up there. Yeah, sorry. Just screwing with your head. My bad. You see this lush grass? When the pioneers first got to Utah, that first fall, they came up into the mountains and they cut grass just like this as hay for their stock. Without it, they and their animals would have died that very first winter. This is looking back the way we came. We've been out about 45 minutes now. If you look up at the sky, you see those clouds are getting just a little bit dark. The temperature of the air has dropped a few degrees. It's starting to be just a tad bit cool. One risk you run hiking in the mountains this time of year is a sudden summer thunderstorm. The downside of that is you can get wet and chilled quick. But I brought along a rain poncho, and hopefully we'll come out just fine. You hear that? Yeah, our friend the aspens make a little more sound. That's a reflection of the wind that's kicked up in front of those dark clouds. Those clouds we're kind of hoping blow right overhead and take the rain to the next valley.